Sat here with Guido, and Guido had his safety inspection today. Guido is one of our hot contenders for the Golden Globe race. And so, yeah, Guido, to answer your question, so what we're doing is that we are doing these videos largely so that people can understand a little bit more about what goes into taking part in a race like this, because there's a lot of people who live vicariously through YouTube and what have you, and they might be interested in like what does it actually take? Do you have to strip your boat out, or can you be relatively sympathetic and all that kind of stuff? Yesterday we had a look at Matt's, Henry's boat, which is very sympathetically fitted out, and keeps that beautiful wooden charm, so we'll curious to have a look at how your boat's laid out.
Sure.
But then also Sailing Sibongile, my organization, is hoping to put a boat into 2030. Not necessarily with me as the skipper, but we're hoping to put a boat in at least. And so it's an opportunity for me to learn as well about what goes into taking part in the GGR.
Share it with great pleasure.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So how did you kind of get to be involved in the GGR?
Okay, let me try and make it short, because it wasn't that short really. The point where it started was that I wanted to become. I was typically sailing around the Cairns, as most people do, and I was quite, since I was a kid basically. So I was a racing sailor. And then at one point, I got older. I stopped racing, and especially I got working, and I just didn't have any more time to be a reliable member of crew on a racing boat.
Okay.
So I sort of gave up sailing. I was around sailing all the time because I was a marine photographer by trade. So I was around boats all the time. I got on boats, I got on fantastic boats. I got to helm them for 10 minutes, quarter of an hour.
Right. Okay.
Then they said, get off.
So
But aside from that, I wasn't really racing anymore, I wasn't sailing anymore. And then in 2008, I decided this has to change. I want to get sailing again. I want to free up some time. I want to free up some time for my family, because being a photographer is a fantastic job, but it's not very family friendly.
Right.
So I just had to reorganize my priorities. I wanted to reorganize my priorities, and so we bought a family boat, which is an Amel Super Maramo.
Okay, 53.
53 feet.
Very good.
Yeah, great boat, our bus, and it's like a camper van, but it's a great boat to cruise.
20 tons.
Yes.
Yeah, the YouTubers will know SV Delos has a Super Maramo.
Exactly. Had.
Well, yes, they sold it back to their original owner, which is great.
For a profit.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So have you had to learn any new skills in order to take part in?
The moment I decided to become a mariner rather than an offshore sailor, as opposed to a round the Cairn sailor, it's a totally different ballgame. You have to learn how to become a mariner as opposed to an athlete.
Okay.
So, of course, you take with you the good experiences of sailing around the Cairns, which is, to some extent tactics, but not really that much. It doesn't really make that much difference. It's more how to get the best out of your boat, how to make her sail as fast as possible.
And have you done much solo sailing?
I did. I was getting there. I did about. I've done about 30,000 miles solo on Hannah, on my boat.
Okay.
But getting to Hannah, getting to something like this, and saying, okay, I want to do something which is really difficult. Went through a certain number of phases, which was initially I just want to become a mariner, I just want to sail offshore, I just want to cruise mainly, and so that part of it from 2008 onwards was, okay, what do I do in a storm? How do I anchor in a bay? How do I anchor properly in a bay? What do the storm tactics? How do I prepare my boat to be able to sail offshore reliably
Right.
and safely. It was that stuff.
Okay.
And then came celestial navigation. I want to learn how to do celestial navigation. Why? Because it's a backup to the
Yeah,
electronics.
quite.
If everything fails on a boat, then I want to do that. So that's another little piece in the becoming a mariner
Okay.
project.
And in that journey, I presume you had the same kind of feeling that I had at one point. That it's like, now that I'm building these skills, what am I going to do with it? Let's do something difficult.
Yes, and then the racing part of me came back. I said, okay, well, now I've learned certain things, I've learned new skills, I've done certain things because I did 2 ocean crossings in very short-handed crew on our Super Marimo. And that was a great experience, and it was like just building blocks,
Okay.
just things. And then in 2015 I learned, almost by coincidence, about this new race that Don had set up, and I said, can I do it? I mean, am I able to do it?
All right.
Have got it in me to do it? And initially the answer was no.
Okay.
I didn't feel at all up to it. So I said, if I want to do it, I need to take the time to prepare for it.
Well, your youngest one would have been 6 at the time, right?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
small, and the other one was much bigger. So that was a thing. Then of course money,
Yeah.
because it's you need money to do these things, and you need time.
Right.
So it was like a whole lot of factors which had to come together
Okay.
in such a way that I would be able to do it. So I said, okay, it's 2015. I don't think I can do. I'm not up to doing the 2018 race for X amount of reasons. One, mainly, I'm not ready. I don't have a boat. I haven't done anything.
Right.
I've got a family. I've got a job. I've got a whole lot of things which I have to sort out first. So let's aim for the 2022 one,
Right.
which gives me a lot more time. You can spread the cost. I can learn. I can sail. I can in the
Yeah, yeah.
meantime
Yeah.
get the boat sailing. And this will allow me to get to know her better, to know what I want to do on the boat, what kind of things I need to do on the boat to prepare her. And so in 2016 I sort of started looking for boats. In fact, no, in late 2015 I started looking for boats, and my first choice was Rustler 36, because by that point I wanted to be in this race. And so it was either a boat from 32 to 36 feet.
Uh-huh.
And so I went to a 36 because Jean-Luc Van Red, who was the favorite to win, was on that boat. That was
Right.
basically the reason. There wasn't anything more scientific than that. But it makes sense, a guy that has gone 5 times around the world,
Yeah,
6
yeah.
times now around the world non-stop solo, has got a pretty good idea of what kind of boat he wants. So that was my first choice, but the boats that I found were too pricey, and especially they were too well kitted out.
Right.
I was looking for a boat which was healthy in the fundamentals. So,
Right.
a hull that didn't have osmosis or major osmosis, an engine which was still decent and just maybe needed an overhaul, but was basically didn't require me to buy a brand new
Yeah.
engine, because those are the big costs.
Quite.
And all the rest was effectively, I knew that I had to chuck.
Right.
So there was no point in buying fancy stuff, which I would I would have had to chuck, because then and throw away, because the boat, most of the stuff that you need is so specific to this
Yeah.
kind of sailing, to solo sailing, that a lot of, we redid so much on the boat
Okay.
that there was no point in buying it
Okay.
and spending money and resources.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a look at the boat in a sec. So
Sure.
is there, so in terms
Sorry,
of spending,
I've
no,
been
that's
I've been
that's
a bit lengthy, but
that's
so-
fine, no problem. So in terms of the sort of 8-9 months on your own out there, so you have a bit of interaction with people via the sat phone and the daily check-ins and stuff, but yeah, and then obviously handing over film in Lanzarote, and then maybe Cape Town again and Hobart. But how are you planning to sort of deal with the solitude and being on your own for 9 months?
Good question. Okay, doing something like this, a project like this, not necessarily a race, but a project like this, requires a great amount of planning and preparation. So that's the first phase.
Okay.
And the planning, naturally, what you tend to think of as planning and preparation is getting the boat ready and getting yourself ready as far as sailing goes.
Okay.
But getting yourself ready as far as solitude goes is a different story.
All right.
At least it is for me. It is something, it's probably the biggest question mark,
Okay.
in the sense that I have delved into understanding, and I've spoken to sports psychologists,
Okay.
because there are a lot of analogies with other sports, being especially individual sports.
Yeah, yeah.
So managing the mindset and turning the mindset around, and from a negative situation into a positive situation, you have to trick the brain into certain
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that you have to do to trick it into
Yeah.
turning your mindset around. And so I studied some of that,
Okay.
a fair amount, but ultimately you have to go out there and see,
Yeah.
There is a very personal component which you either have or you don't have.
Yeah.
It's like talent, you either have it or you don't have it, and then you can build on that. You can hone
Yeah.
the technique and training, but you have to have the fundamentals. If you don't have it,
Yeah.
and I've been the most I've been alone is 3 months at sea,
Okay.
and that was quite promising. I felt pretty good about it, but this is like potentially 3 times more.
Yeah.
So it's not the same.
Well, once you get to 3 months, actually you've broken the back of it. It's just a continuation of that. And
I'll tell you when I get back.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what kind of Guido we get back.
If I've gone,
gone mad or
if
something.
I've gone totally bonkers, then
Start talking to the clouds or chasing windmills or something.
something went wrong along the way.
Excellent. So there's a few questions that normally I keep for the end, but since we're sat here, what is your favorite marine wildlife that you really get excited about seeing when you're out?
Oh, any. Yeah. When you're out there, the great thing is that you get all sorts of things. You get, in my previous crossings, I had pigeons coming along and sitting on the boat. I had tiny little birds that had been blown up, of course, and that needed to rest. And I had, how do you call them? Oh man, the ones that make springtime, swallows.
Swallows, okay.
Swallows that came, and some of them flew inside and they parked themselves in a little spot and they just stayed there, and you
Right.
could do anything to them.
Right, wow. Well, they're so
You could
exhausted, I
touch them
imagine.
and stroke them, and you get them a bit of food, a few crumbs, a bit of water or milk, or
Well, I imagine they're so exhausted that they're too tired to fly away, to be afraid.
and they just sit there, and that is fantastic. That is really great.
That's the first time anybody's mentioned the birds. Actually, somebody mentioned albatrosses and that kind of stuff.
Yes, and then you get the big fauna, the whales and the killer whales, and obviously the dolphins. But it's all the birds, the seabirds, the major stuff that I'm really looking forward to. But even the really tiny little birds, it's just so nice. You feel in those moments you really feel in touch.
Yeah.
And,
Your life's it's precarious out there for you and for them at the same time. Let's take a quick look at the boat, if that's all right.
Sure.
All right.
So this is Hannah of
One
Cows.
sec.
Why Hannah of Cows? Because originally she was named just Hannah, but she was a small ship register boat,
Okay.
and so
So what year is she?
She's 1993.
Okay, but she's on the Lloyd's register.
She's on the Lloyd's register because I took her. I bought her in the UK in Gosport, and at the time she was just an SSR boat. She was in great shape. Belonged to first owners of this elderly couple, or that had become elderly in time, and they wanted to sell, and they'd really looked after her, and she was in a very healthy state for going for a very reasonable price, considering the prices of of Vancouver's, which are pretty high.
Okay.
And she looked healthy, you know. She looked in good shape.
So she's a Vancouver
34 classic.
34. And her waterline is what?
Her waterline is good question. I think it's 10 meters 33.
Okay.
And 10 meters 44 overall.
All right.
So she's got a pretty long waterline.
And so, what are the sort of major modifications or customizations that you've made to this boat?
It's a long list. We had pages and pages of Excel pages to go through, but wow. Okay, let's go for the big ones.
All right.
She had a roller furling Yankee.
Okay.
And with just a Hank-on, because she is born as cutter rig.
Okay.
So this wasn't added; it came with it. What I did, I changed both, and I put both roll on, and obviously new mast, increased the section by one size, basically from the old mast. So she's got a big section. I went up one size in boom.
Is it the standard length mast?
Standard length. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All same measurements are identical. Measurements are identical to what it was before, but I just beefed up everything. So I beefed up the whole bow area. Then what I did was we put diform.
Okay.
Cable instead of just normal 1-19 cable. And we went up one size. I sort of overdid it. With hindsight, it's one of the first things I did. With hindsight, I'd probably still do diform,
okay,
but not one size.
And did she come with a twin backstay, or is that something you've added?
No, that it was like that.
Okay. And you mentioned the boom, so you've gone up a size in the boom, but the dimension is the same. It's just that you've gone thicker and stronger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. The length of it is exactly the same.
Okay.
As is for the mast.
And so all your lines run back to the cockpit?
Yes, all the lines run back to the cockpit because I thought that was, I'm not an ankle snapper anymore. So, in rough conditions, I found that to be, and I've obviously tested all this stuff extensively. I've sailed, with her, I've sailed solo 15,000 miles of the 30,000. So,
and then we spoke about the windows yesterday. Those are polycarbonate, so that looks like a 10mm polycarbonate.
Yeah.
With Seeker Flex and through bolted.
Yes.
Which was a bit of a trial and error. You mentioned yesterday that
it was a bit of a
how
trial
much.
and error because I keep a boat in Italy, so in Italy it heats up a lot and obviously expands and contracts quite a lot. So that we made a few mistakes along the way. Right. We had to change some of them, but basically we were pretty much on the right track.
Right. Can we get aboard?
Yeah, sure.
And so I guess the sort of most obvious thing then getting aboard is this hard dodger. That's quite unique.
Yes.
So you'd got this was originally prepared for 2022, and so you've got what they call grandfather rights for having this style of hard dodger.
This would have been approved even in 26.
Okay.
Because of its size.
Right.
They banned the new hard dodgers in 26 because of the windage. People had hard dodgers as you normally would have a soft dodger, which implies a hell of a lot of windage. And it's a good point because you don't really want windage. You want to limit windage as much as possible. So this would have been approved in 26 too, like it has been for
Louis.
For Etienne.
Okay, Etienne. Right.
I sent him the drawings of mine. He had asked Don whether he could do it. and he built one along this, same size sort of thing.
So unlike
this was quite
unlike Louis, yours doesn't replace the companionway. Yours is actually a Dodger. It sits over the top of the companionway.
It sits over the top of a companionway because initially what I wanted to do, a lot of people were going down the route of taking the companionway, putting a nice big hatch door here, and getting rid of this. We will not have this anymore.
Yeah.
And just have a hatch going through here, which took up and normally angled.
Yeah.
So
Kind of like Louis, like a submarine door.
Yeah, basically. To close the gap between here and here. So they put it angled 45 degrees to close this gap so you could sort of climb into it.
And so you can sit there in inclement when it's terrible weather and have full visibility like a doghouse.
Oh, I can do more than that.
Right.
I can actually steer from here.
Okay.
We worked out a system that you connect. The boat isn't born as a tiller.
Okay.
With a tiller helm, it had a wheel. We took the wheel off and connected the tiller directly to the stock. And then what we did was just through a series of pulleys, you basically connect the pulleys in such a way that they then go through this hole here, which is now obviously not in use.
Yeah.
Goes through this hole here, and I've got a seat that comes up here and that you slot in here. Just a board, simple. And you sit here with this becomes a footrest.
Okay.
And you steer with your feet.
Right.
So you help the hydrovane steer in heavy weather, and you stay dry, and you can control everything. You can see the back because it's all transparent. Front, sides, top, you can see everything.
That's
So
very
it's,
cool.
It's just a way, of keeping dry. You want to keep
So are there any other major modifications you've done to the cockpit?
Aside from the tiller,
Tiller,
would be that. This we expanded because here there was just a wave, like a seat for the helmsman.
Oh yes.
And it went like like so.
Right.
So we expanded it to make it more.
Make a lazarette, and so what's in that lazarette locker at the moment?
Here you've got gas bottles.
Okay.
And actually, considering the balance of the boat, I didn't want to put too much weight behind it because you've got the hydrovane, which is already quite heavy in itself.
Yeah.
So here I just put some gas bottles because of course you don't want to put them anywhere else, and I use those 12-liter fiberglass bottles.
Okay.
So even if they bang around, they're well fixed. And then mooring lines. There isn't really, there's plenty of space here. There's.
Yeah. Right.
There's still a lot.
It's a proper lazarette then.
Yeah. There's a lot of space.
Yeah.
That you can use.
Cool. I like this. The how you've done your attachment points for your drogue. Those are super cool, and the fair leads. Those are lovely.
Yeah, this was Antonio, our great carpenter, or blacksmith if you prefer.
Yeah.
Who's got golden hands, and he did all this stuff.
Those cleats are brilliant. They swivel, don't they? And then they come up.
Yeah, Antal was one of my technical sponsors.
Okay.
And so I got all the stuff from them, and they live 50 k's away from my house.
Very good.
And they make great equipment. So everything is Antal, all the winches and jammers and tracks and everything.
Is there? I've been told that down below is also quite revolutionary.
No, come on, that's
No.
a good word. Don't make me blush. No, it's not. There's nothing revolutionary. There's just a lot of thought going into things,
Right.
Just a lot of thought going into things. And when I came here in 2018 and I started taking photos of the boats, and once I'd finished, I said, well, we're on the right track, because a lot of the decisions that the individual skippers had adopted for their boat were what we had thought of.
Okay.
And it was just through thinking and trying and testing that we came to certain conclusions. That's why the more you sail, the better the boat is prepared, because with sailing you notice things.
Yeah, what works and what doesn't.
And what doesn't, you know.
And so you've got a separation down below, just looking from the outside in, you've got that separation between wet and dry areas. So I
Yes.
presume this area around the galley, I just want to get a little bit closer.
The initial idea, it wasn't born of us, but the initial idea was from what I'd seen in Philippe Pechet's boat, which was a 2018 starter.
Okay.
And he had done this, not quite like this, but he had done this concept of separating the two areas, which I thought was really sharp, because especially in the high latitudes, you know, it's cold and it's wet. You've got a lot of humidity going around, and I just wanted to have a heater and to have to heat a very small area, and to keep as much of the wetness and the spray that normally comes into a boat, even
Right.
if it's not a wave, you know, if it's just spray that is in the air, and keep that area dry, so that, you know, I go in there only with no oilies, nothing, you know, I just undress here, hang the wet stuff here, and then go in there, and that's my little, I close the door to the forecastle, and I just have, you know, that small area which is easy to heat up, and where I sleep, and keep it nice and dry. Let's go inside.
Yeah, that'll be great. Shall I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, if you go first, you can show me what the technique is for getting in.
It's like, hang on to the
Yeah.
handle.
Oh, I've only got one hand free. All right.
Okay, so even though it might not look like it, the leitmotif of this boat, and I think this is my attitude in general, boats must be simple.
Right.
So even though it looks fancy, it's actually very simple.
What I like about it is everything is available, everything's on display, and you've separated quite. I mean, I imagine that's
separated-
custom built,
Yes, I separated everything. This
and
was
everything is spaced out so that you can access it really quickly without accidentally hitting something else.
exactly. You know, I've been very lucky. There is a long boat building tradition and classic boat building tradition in Tuscany that, in effect, what has done is that you have these great artisans, you know, whether they're electricians or shipwrights or blacksmiths, or that they've got a lot of experience in boats, so, and in boat building, and a lot of the suggestions actually came from them.
Okay.
So in this case, my electrician Danilo said, look, the easiest way and the safest way is if you keep all the circuits separate, because it takes a bit more space, but at least if one thing goes wrong, it doesn't influence others.
Right.
And you know exactly what has gone wrong, and you can fix just that, and you know exactly what you have to fix, and you know it quickly without faffing around and understanding what the problem is. So he separated everything, and there's quite a bit of redundancy also. These are the regulators of the sun
Solar panels.
These are obviously the main switches. This is you can switch through. This is just for
water protection.
a bit of spray.
Yeah.
This is waterproof.
Okay.
I've made this waterproof, but this is just to
Just that extra bit of redundancy.
yeah, exactly. Because normally sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry.
No problem.
Are you okay?
Yep, all good.
Like this here, you can go through the batteries, and you can direct electricity to the different batteries, to the groups of batteries. I've got 2 groups of service batteries, and here obviously all the things to charge, the bits and pieces, the sat phones and stuff, which we've got heaps of, the YB trackers and whatever. We've got a lot of electronics for safety, which we are not allowed to use if not in case of an emergency. This is the weather fax. This had to be It actually didn't have to be waterproofed, but we made it waterproof in any case. I don't know how useful it's going to be because there aren't many stations that still transmit WFX. And this is radios, and so here we've got, this is also waterproof, if I can open it. And it's here we've got the AIS transponder. This is an AIS receiver because we can't connect, I mean we could if we had an iPad, but this transmits our position and all our information out of the boat. And so, but we were not allowed to be able to visualize things in any way. It's connected to a GPS, and so to the outside world everything is seen. We normally our code is always solo sailor, so they are aware that we are sailing solo.
Right.
And this is an alarm, which and this basically, this tells you, this is the only thing that tells you, based on the flashes, it tells you what boats are around that are transmitting and on what quadrant they are. Here too, you know, it's those things you mount the receiving antenna low, because otherwise you're going to get warnings of boats that are miles away over the horizon, and you transmit with this your position to ships far away.
Right.
So this is one of the AISs, and based on a number of rings, it tells you on which quadrant the boat is.
Okay.
So you want to be seen far away, but you want to see close by.
Yeah. Quite.
Because otherwise you go out and you don't know what to look for.
Yeah, especially when you're starting to round the bottom of South Africa.
Yeah. Exactly.
All those Chinese trawlers.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
And then so from
well away from those.
So then the other side is cooking. So do you have a jet boil?
Yes, I have a jet boil as a plan B.
Okay.
But I have there too. I've gone for something because I've got wet food.
Okay.
So I've just got a pot with a lid that I keep closed with an elastic, and I put it on the fire. I warm the water and I warm the food like that. I'm not planning on doing much cooking. In fact, virtually none at all.
All right.
Because just knowing myself, you know, if I have to start pottering around, then you know the weather is a bit rough, and then you start eating badly, and you start eating not regularly, and then you start losing weight, and then you know,
it can end up with making bad decisions.
So I preferred to have, even though it was an investment, or I consider it an investment. It was more expensive than cooking food yourself. But logistically, it's a lot better, and you eat regularly, and you have a proper calorie intake, and a good balanced diet regularly. That was my main aim.
I just spotted a tube that's got Shakespeare written on it. What is that?
This is a spare SSB antenna.
Oh, okay. It's not a fishing rod.
No, no, I haven't actually. I must add a little. What's his name for fishing? But no, I don't plan to fish because unless I'm desperate. But I don't plan to fish basically because generally in the Atlantic or in the ocean, even if you've got small bait, you catch big fish. I don't have a fridge.
What do you do with it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really want to catch a fish and eat a quarter of it and chuck it away.
And Henry's view was the same, and in fact, he was saying, you know, if with the teak decking and everything, it just makes a mess.
Yeah, and then you have a total mess in the cockpit.
Yeah.
But you know, the mess you can that you can deal with. It's not a problem. Excellent. You know, a few bucketfuls of water and you've sorted. But it was more the concept of catching a fish and throwing away 3/4 of it.
Yeah.
That that I didn't like that idea. So
Yeah, quite. And of course, the when you're doing 5 knots or 6 knots, the only fish you're going to catch is a really big sport fish.
yeah, you
Because
catch,
the little ones that are
don't
mackerel
keep
size,
up.
30 centimeters, that is a meal.
I mean, typically I either catch tuna or mai. Those are the two. What's mai? In Italian it's lampuga, the mai.
Dorado,
Is it a dorado? That's got
the beautiful green and
colour.
blue,
Yeah,
yellow, yeah, Dorado.
beautiful fish. And you get big stuff. It's always big. So no, I didn't want to go down that route. I mean, if I go cruising, I fish a lot, but then I've got a fridge, a freezer. It's another story.
Cool. Is there much forward then, or is that just largely kind of like cruising room down out the forward here?
No, forward is all sails and spares.
Right.
So okay, now we haven't sorted things out. These boxes must go away.
Okay.
Here I've got 13 soft bags of food, which I shift from side to side to manage the weight and the balance of the boat. This boat has got very shallow bilges, so it carries in the bilges only 170 liters of water.
Okay.
So all the rest is in
The blue
jerry cans, which are spread around the boat and which will be pretty much fixed. There's going to be 5 here, 2 here, and 4 up front. And that balances the boat nicely, and it also allows you, to manage that weight also. And those typically will go one by one in the main tanks, and then they're obviously going to be stored empty, and then when it rains they're going to be filled, so that in case that water is contaminated, it doesn't go and contaminate the tanks.
Okay.
And the tanks, there are 5 tanks, even though they're small. I mean, the smallest tank is 15 liters and the biggest one is 55. But there too, there's a system, so you isolate each tank, because one of the big risks is that for whatever reason you contaminate one. If they're all connected, then you go and contaminate all the others, and you can end up very quickly with no water. Or very bad water, like happened to Jeremy Bagshaw. He threw away 150 liters of water in one go.
Wow.
So, and that's that could be the end of you as far as the race goes.
So you're just looking forward, then your V berth is a V berth.
Yes,
to anybody that could actually be a sleeping quarters.
Yes. When I bought the boat, we used to sleep here with my wife, and it was actually comfy, but it had a totally different aspect. If you want to go inside, because it was longer, it only had a chain locker up forward, and obviously it had a little cupboard, and a place where to store clothes and bits and pieces, and it came out as a very nice double bed, very spacious double bed. Then we had to shorten it because
watertight bulkhead.
Because of the watertight bulkhead, but you can actually still sleep in it very comfortably.
If you're 5 foot something.
No, I can still fit in there. Yeah, I can still fit in there.
How tall are you?
6 feet.
Okay.
I can still fit in there, because we obviously took a lot of all the cabinetry away. We did this. This is a watertight bulkhead. Also, this done by the shipwrights down in Porto Santo Stefano in Argentario in Tuscany. Great job, because this is a boat that appears. Now, I'm not going to say a popular thing, and I'm going to have the Vancouver owners up in arms, but it's the truth. At least on this boat, and for the shipyard that built it. This boat looks beautiful when you buy it, and it's got really great, joinery, well made, etc. But when you start digging a bit, then it becomes a bit dodgy.
It's not all as it appears.
Yeah. So doing this watertight bulkhead was quite a mission. and in fact, what we did was the water tightness goes like this and like that.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So all these bulkheads here are now joined to the hull, so they become structural.
Gotcha.
Because before they weren't that structural.
Okay.
You know, they were. Now they are properly structural. Seriously structural.
And then, so the door to your heads is also chunky and fully sealed.
The door to the heads is fairly chunky. This part was less. What we effectively did here, we didn't change much of this division.
Okay.
But we fiberglassed
on the outside.
everything, top and bottom.
Okay.
To the hull and to the rest of the deck. We changed this.
Yeah. All right. You mentioned this was oversized, so one size up.
Yeah, it's one size up, but it's not a through. The mast doesn't go through the deck. The mast is stepped on deck.
Oh, okay. So that's a compression post.
Yes.
All right.
This is a compression post, but instead of having a very nice veneered piece of wood, like a wooden column, what we did was here too. I got this section of broken mast. That was a broken mast, and we made a plate here. So the plate is bolted to the deck, and so it spreads the load upwards. We actually loaded the deck and to fit it in, so
Okay.
it slotted in, and it had a load on it from deck and hull, and then we bolted it top and bottom.
All right.
So this is bolted to with there is another big plate here. It's about this big, that on which the king post is bolted, and in turn the plate is bolted to the hull.
That's clever. I like the addition of this handle.
Yeah, this came in time. I mean, all these came in time, because the boat itself has got some good handholds. What comes with good handholds, these are great handholds,
Mm-hmm.
It all works, but there were some bits and pieces missing for really rough conditions.
So
it helps a lot.
I've got a few, three final questions because we're coming up for 45 minutes. And I've taken up way more time than I was expecting.
I was I'm a bit
What?
chatty.
What is that? The Richter scale thing.
This is a barometer
Okay.
for all intents and purposes. It's a barometer with the only difference that it is more eye-catching in the sense that it shows the trends in pressure.
Okay.
I normally keep a logbook, so in any case I see the trends in pressure through the logbook. This is a more visual thing, and also here it's a backup. I've got a normal barometer, and I've got this, and it's actually called a barograph.
Okay.
Because of this graphic display.
Excellent.
And one piece of paper is for 1 week.
All right.
Lasts 1 week.
And then next question, spotted the speakers.
Yes.
Are they connected to your cassette player?
Yes, I've got the cassette player here. Here is the Blaupunkt cassette player. It was a mission to find it. You can't find these damn things anymore.
I used to have one almost identical to that in my first car.
Yeah. I mean,
in 1992.
Once upon a time, they threw them at you, and that for a few euros or rands.
And people used to steal them out of your car, left, right, and centre.
Exactly.
Especially at
now
Joburg.
they've become like a collector's item.
Yeah.
And
so what music do you listen to?
With my cassette, I love all sorts. I've got I really like from classical music right up to pretty heavy metal.
Okay. Pre-heavy metal.
Pretty heavy.
Oh, pretty heavy metal, such as
AC/DC.
Okay, that's not that heavy.
Well, it's heavy enough.
Heavy enough, all right. And then
Metallica, AC/DC, stuff like that. But it's not
good stuff.
It's not. Yeah, good stuff. It's always good stuff. 80s, 90s, 60s, 70s. A lot of classical. When the weather is bad, is fantastic. It just, gets you, quietens you down a bit. And then books.
Oh yes.
You know, I don't know if I've bought about 25,000 books, 25 books, because there isn't
25,000 would be a lot.
25,000. I am an avid reader, but
Right.
you know, you're quite busy. There isn't much free time.
And books are. I mean, as Henry had this view yesterday, books are quite consuming. They take your attention span.
Yes. Yes, and here it's a race, and I think Henry has got the right attitude. You know, he wants to race quite rightly. And we saw that in the prologue. So, and he's got a good boat, so he's going to be a great contender.
So my final question was going to be: do you ever swim off your boat? But I presume the answer is that in the right conditions, yes, there's no reason why not if it's calm enough.
I just tie myself to the boat.
Right. Yeah. So if the wind picks up, then you don't get left behind.
But even if the wind doesn't pick up, you know, it's just one of those precautions that you don't want to stuff up on something so silly and mundane.
Yeah.
So even whatever happens.
So my final question then actually is, what antifoul do you use?
Aha. The antifoul that I use is the Nautix A9000.
Okay.
Initially, I was more oriented on CJet, which was the one that gave very good results to Jean-Luc. He had a bit of he put different ones together, and he had some hard matrix, and on top of the hard matrix, some soft matrix. And but then when I saw Simon Kerwin return with a squeaky clean hull as though he'd been put in the water the day before, from around the world, I just asked him what he had put on, and he said Nautix, and I went with that.
Yeah, I guess you can't it sort of speaks for itself, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. The application is, you have to be careful about the application. Like most of these things, you know, it's like copper coat. I mean, if you don't apply copper coat perfectly, it doesn't work. So applying the application procedure and the temperatures at which you apply it and the method of application are fundamental. And the same goes with these. You have to do it you have to be really scientific about it, especially with the temperature. Because the temperature was, I did it in Italy, and in Italy, even now it's 30 degrees down in Tuscany.
Right.
And when we were still there before bringing the boat up here, it was like more 40 degrees. So we had to work at sunrise and sunset.
Is that because it cures too quickly?
Yes, because otherwise it doesn't amalgamate properly between layers, and you don't have a nice smooth finish. And then, you know, it doesn't work as it should. And it doesn't wear as it should. Only 3 layers. I didn't apply like a lot of layers, but they had to be applied properly.
Right. Cool. Well, it's...
So that's about it. I mean, you know, it's fairly simple boat. This boat used to be able to sleep 4 very comfortably. Now sleeps 1 comfortably. Even in the prologue race in 2, it wasn't
well, Guido,
comfortable.
47 minutes, guys. I was hoping for 20 minutes. Thank you so much for the extra
time.
We'll
do part 1 and part 2.
yeah. Indeed. No, it's been brilliant. Thank you so much for the insight into your boat. It's not quite as kind of like spaceships, like cutting edge as people were making it out to be. I love it. I genuinely like it. I like the cleverness and the thinking with your electronics and the hardware and how you've changed the helm. That's really great. The thinking on the rigging and the rig itself. That's great. And you've kept it, you know, kind of lovely, still looking like a great cruising boat.
Yes, you know, it is. She's a great cruising boat, and now all the better, you know, when you offload the stuff specific to the race. Yeah. She can be. That was my objective, you know, to make her appealing for whoever's going to buy her next, because I want to sell her after. I don't know. My idea is to sell her after the race. And I just wanted to keep her, and also it's cozy, you know, it's welcoming, it's a place. I have to sit in 10 square meters, I have to sit here for 8 months.
Ah, and there is a question I forgot to ask. Where do you sleep?
I sleep well, sometimes I sleep on the floor. I have slept on the floor when it's particularly rough, or when you're going upwind in rough weather. The floor is very comfy. I've got this now it's on top of the bags, but in fact, this is made in such a way that you can put it here, it fits everywhere. It fits here, it fits there, it fits on the floor. It's snug, keeps you tight, because you don't want to move around. and I basically sleep to leeward of, so I shift all the weight of the food upwind, so it allows me, you know, you do, I don't know how you call it, you do massage in
Yeah.
French, and then you sleep to leeward, which is a lot more comfortable
Yeah.
rather than being you the windward weight.
Yeah, because you'll end up getting thrown out of the bunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And at the same, you know, and then you shift the food. It's a bit of hard work, but not that much really. Also because, you know, the tacks along.
Yeah.
So
Well, Guido, thank you so much.
thank you.
And,
Thank you very much
you know,
for the time, for taking the time.
I wish you all the absolute very best.
Thank you.
I can't tell you who I want to win, because of course I want you to win, but then I want Guy to win, and I want Henry to win, and I want Ertan to
No,
win.
I just want to get around.
Yeah,
You know, I want to get around. I'm going to do my pace. I don't have any ambitions of winning here. What you have to do is get around, because it's so hard and so difficult that you just have to. It's like a marathon. You have to do your pace, and whatever happens. But you know, then I mean, I know this boat like the back of my hand, so I know what she's capable of doing. So you know, I'll just do that.
Cool.
And then if I come last, fine. If I come first, fine.
Yeah. As long as you arrive back before the prize giving.
Yes, but that's late. That's really late.
All right. We'll see you on the dock.